This is Russell Hawley, the education specialist at the Tate Geological Museum, and I've got a trivia question for you. Where do baby dinosaurs come from? Yep, if you said eggs, then you are correct. I would have also accepted from their mommies, but eggs is a more precise answer. And people know that dinosaurs were hatched from eggs because paleontologists have found fossilized eggs in several different parts of the world. The first dinosaur eggs were found in Mongolia back in the 1920s by Roy Chapman Andrews. This is a dinosaur called Oviraptor. It's about the size of an adult human being, and they roamed Mongolia and northern China near the end of the Cretaceous period, about 70 million years ago. And the egg, right here, is an Oviraptor egg. So when the baby Oviraptor was first hatched, it would have been small enough to fit into a space only that big. So the newborn Oviraptor was only about the size of a rat. For a long time, Oviraptor had a bad rap. The first dinosaur nest of eggs was found with an Oviraptor skeleton on top of it, and Andrews mistakenly interpreted that to mean that the Oviraptor had been stealing the eggs at the time that it died, and hence the name Oviraptor, which means egg robber or egg plunderer. Years later, other dinosaur nests were found, and each one of them had an Oviraptor skeleton on top. And that's when it was realized that they weren't egg robbers raiding the nest, but rather mother Oviraptors guarding their unhatched young. So it turns out that it's a good mother, the Oviraptor, and the name is actually slightly slanderous, but it's already been published, so we're stuck with it, and there's nothing we can do. Now here is a larger dinosaur. This is a Hadrosaur, one of the duckbill dinosaurs, and they get up to the size of a rhinoceros, about 3 or 4 tons live weight. And yet, here is a Hadrosaur egg. So although this is a pretty big egg by modern standards, it's still a very small egg to be coming out of a rhinoceros-sized dinosaur. Once again, the baby had to be small enough to fit into a space only that big, so the newly hatched Hadrosaur was only about the size of a guinea pig. Even the biggest of the dinosaurs seem to have laid relatively small eggs. This is an egg from South America, from a Titanosaur, one of the long-necked plant-eating dinosaurs. This one probably was laid by Saltosaurus, and we've got a model of Saltosaurus right here. It looked a little bit like a Brontosaurus, but had armor plates for extra protection. These are very large animals. We're talking 10, 15 tons, and yet laying eggs only about this big. And this is pretty close to the maximum size of dinosaur eggs. The biggest dinosaur eggs that have ever been found are about the size of a honeydew melon. So dinosaurs came big and small, but they all started out quite small. That's something they all had in common. Now these last eggs over here are, sad to say, mystery eggs. They were not found with skeletons of babies inside, and the bones of adults were not found anywhere nearby, so we don't know what kind of dinosaur laid those eggs. This one might have been laid by a Therizinosaur. That's what a Therizinosaur looked like in life. So that might be a Therizinosaur egg, but we're not sure. The smallest egg in our collection is this one right here. That was for a baby dinosaur that couldn't have been much bigger than a large hamster. The smallest dinosaur eggs of all are only about the size of a grape, so those babies would have been very tiny indeed. In addition to size and shape, another way that you can tell dinosaur eggs apart is by texture. And this one, sadly another mystery egg, but it does have a very distinct texture. It's got large tubercles all over it, so that when you run your fingers across it, it feels a whole lot like a petrified avocado.